picked up a deal when the local bathroom remodeling shop went out of business.
This may look like a pile of crap, and it may be, but I think it's painted stainless steel, and if it is, it might be my leaning post. It's a lot of linear feet of stainless pipe and some nice 90-degree bends if I'm able to use them. If not, we'll just add it to the kids' inheritance. These 4 hand grab bars, bathroom bars, whatever they're called, towel bars, are going to be the legs for, no, that's only going to make 2 legs. I'm going to need 4 more. These are going to be the legs for my leaning post. Turns out we have 2 different sizes. These are bigger in diameter than these, which is fine. I'll use these for the legs, and I can always use these for braces tying into the legs. I can't do the other way around. To make my 4 legs, I just cut one of the 90s off of each piece, and I have a piece of unistrut to line them back up so I can get the weld kind of straight. And it doesn't matter which way the 90 faces, because I'm going to end up cutting one of them off. So I just blend it. Right now I'm just tacking them. Kind of hoping I can get a real welder to weld, because my welds are really ugly. But I'm able to tack them, and I can build a structure, and then I'll either weld it myself or I'll call in the artillery, somebody to help me. So I picked a slope for the legs. This is on the sides, and it was kind of arbitrary. It turns out to be 7 degrees. So now I need to cut the end of these pipes off so that a horizontal piece will fit correctly. And I don't have a tool to do that, so I think I'm just going to try to freehand it with the grinder, with the cutoff wheel, and then I can clean it up with the grinder maybe. See, I'll try one, see how it works. So that actually went pretty well. One cut with the big grinder, and I've got it plumb. I've got to square that away. It took a little sanding, but not too bad. If they all go that well, I'll be happy. I got to cut 3 more. I got my first side frame tacked together, and I kind of like the looks of it. What I need to do is go ahead and weld it out and buff my welds to see if it's going to be at all acceptable before I go any farther. So I took another pair of handrails and welded them together and coped the ends. It's the same stuff, it's just not painted. And this is a smaller diameter. And this will be the footrest. I kind of got everything squared up. I think I have everything square with marks on the table and the square, and I just need to be able to get it steady enough to get a weld on it, which may be a little tricky. My shaky hands. So I've been welding for a couple hours, and it's terribly frustrating because 1, I can't see, 2, my hands shake, 3, I think it's just gotten too breezy now from the hurricane, whatever her name is, Sally. So shut that down. I'm going to start fitting the back. This front, the footrest was easy to fit. I just cut it to length and then ground a curve until it fit right. You could just keep grinding and fitting and grinding and fitting. This one was a little more challenging because if you grind on it, then the length changes. So what I did was I did each individual piece and got it to fit, both of them, and then I put them up there and marked and then welded it together after the fact. Now the backrest is going to come, something like this. I don't know exactly. I don't know if I'm going to come off of here, come off the back and come up. I'm not sure. But first of all, I know I need to make one the right one to go from there. So I'm going to cut that. And I I guess I am back to welding again, at least to get a tack on this, get this thing together. So leaning post frame is sort of almost together. It's not nearly complete, and all the welds have to be gone over again. But before I'm gone too far, I wanted to kind of visualize myself how the seat was going to fit, and how the little storage box under the seat was going to work, and how it was going to hinge. So I brought it home. I made a little pretend foam seat out of cardboard. I'm going to play with some measurements. Okay, so this is where we're at. This is foam. Well, this represents a cushion seat, and it will hinge on the bottom and swing forward. There'll be a plastic tub under it for storing the junk. And I think before I do any more welding, I need to make the frame for the cushion, because then we have to make the support for the frame. So I'm going to make the frame. I'm probably going to make it out of fiberglass and have it in my hand when I start doing the welding for the supports, to make sure it all is going to jive up and work properly. And obviously there'll be a cushion on the back, and maybe even some rod holders if I get a new burst of energy. I tell you, welding this thin stainless steel has kind of kicked my behind. But I do have it all together now. That's half of the work. Going back and putting another bead or another pass is not so hard. The stuff's just so thin, when you get it hot enough to make a good weld, it's gone, it leaves a hole. So this is the mold for the seat support for the leaning post. And my neighbor came over and we were talking, and I've been working and measuring and figuring, and I built it 100% backwards. I meant to build a female mold, and I built a male mold. So the glass is going to go over this mold, which means it's really hard to get the mold out because it's on the inside. If I would have built a female mold, the glass would have been on the inside of it, and I could have just ripped the mold apart to get it out. It'll work. Just senior moment, you know. So what I'll do is I'll put maybe 3 or 4 layers of glass, and then I'll try to get it off, and then I'll put the remainder of the glass on the inside, because another problem is this is made to the right dimensions, and if I put a 1/4 inch of glass on each side, I'm going to be wrong. So I'm going to put a little bit of glass. I'm going to try to get it off of this mold, and I'll build it up from the inside. Right now I'm going to get some Bondo and fill up all the cracks and sand it smooth, so tomorrow we'll do some glass, and it'll be interesting. Always interesting when you get old. So I got my backwards built form, and I got it Bondoed and sanded this morning, and I got it covered with packing tape, and I wiped it down with some teak oil to make it slippery, so that hopefully I'll be able to get the fiberglass off of the mold. Can't believe I did what I did. Anyway, I'm going to put a few layers of glass on it and let it cure, and see if I can't pop the glass off the outside of the mold.
So I put on this shell, I put a couple of layers of chop mat, and I put a couple of layers of some combination mat I had. And this fiberglass and stuff, I've never really done much of it before. And it is definitely a skill. The more you do it, the more, well, the less messy you become, the less waste you end up with, the less bumps you have in the finished products that you have to grind out. There's definitely a skill set involved. In this instance, I wanted the least amount of glass that I could put on here where it would keep its shape, because I want it flexible enough to get the mold out from the inside. So I don't remember how many layers I put, but it's just pretty thin, and it was still pretty flexible to try to get the mold off of it. So the flanges around the perimeter were laid up extra wide, and I knew that. That's just the way to keep the edges neater. So I wanted to trim them back. I need enough flange to make it stiff and rigid and to keep rainwater out of the storage box. But any extra flange is going to make it more difficult to have the top hinge over the storage lid, because you get complicated geometry when you're trying to do that. So I think I ended up with like 1 1/4 inch, marked it all the way around, and cut it with the grinder, and went pretty good. The excess peeled right off, so that's pretty encouraging. So before I glassed this box, I sanded a pretty good taper on the two ends to help in getting popping the glass off the mold. And I put a good curve on the front and the back. And the back is already at a good relief angle. And it took a little while, but it came off and nothing broke. So I got lucky.
Okay, we are out of the mold. Success. Got myself out of a tight spot. I just need to put a bunch more layers on the inside of this thing because it needs to be strong, but that's okay. So the seat bottom is good, but it's very thin. So I'm going to put 3 more layers of glass, and then I'm going to put a stiffener in the front and the top, kind of like I did on the console, and then some more glass. And now I'm in the process of gluing the Venticell to the bottom inside, and I'll glass over that. That'll really stiffen it up. Tomorrow I'll glue a piece on the vertical part of the chair, of the seat. So the seat support for the leaning post, I had put the extra layers yesterday, and I glued some Venticell foam to it, one yesterday, one this morning. And this morning I put an extra couple of layers of glass over that, so when this does cure out, it should be very strong, and I can retrim the edges, and then I'm going to figure out how to make the storage box that goes under it. And I kind of would like for the storage box to support the seat, if that's possible. Make it a good fit. So where the 4 hinge screws are going to go, I drilled a big hole, a 5/8 hole, and got rid of all the foam and poured epoxy in there so the hinge screw would have something solid to screw on. And it expanded when it cured. Pretty weird. This is not my gray paint. This is epoxy with some gray thickener in it. Very weird, but doesn't matter. I just wanted something solid to put the screw in besides that foam. I'm building the mold for the storage box, and all I have so far, which took me a while to figure out, is a level bottom mold. Now I want the side to come up inside here to keep rain out inside here. So that means it's probably going to be, I don't know, yeah, in a little bit. And this swings forward when it opens, so it can't be too tight or I won't be able to get it open. So just playing around with boards here until I get a good mold. Okay, I think I got it. The seat won't close now because of the width of the form, but the glass is going to be on the inside, so the seat will close with the glass. And I think I'm a little too low to the ground for the ice chest to open enough to get something out of it, so rather than cut it and redo it all, I'm just going to drop another 3/4 thickness on the inside, and then we can I can do my coves with the clay, and we can glass this. I'll probably only put a few layers and then take it apart to make sure it's going to fit, and then I can glass more.
Putting a curve or radius or fillet on all my inside corners to keep the glass from having a right angle. And I'm using my magic coving tool, which is a big ball bearing welded on a rod. And no matter which way you hold it, which direction you push it or pull it, they always come out perfect. It's a pretty cool little thing that I copied from someone. This press board is super porous, so it's probably the worst thing in the world for a mold. But anyway, I liberally applied some teak oil, just soaked it till it wouldn't take anymore. And then the next day when I did the glass, right before I put glass in it, I did it again, and seems to do the trick. I haven't had any glass stick to the boxes when I've been using this product.
I'll put some glass in my box this morning. It's probably a little less than half of the amount that needs to go in there, but before I get too far I want to check it out. So I'm going to try to pull the mold off and set it in place and see what we got. Right. Okay, we have success. Top opens and closes, and when it's closed, we have good contact on the sides and the back, which is what I wanted, because when somebody's sitting here, I want the weight to be on the box and not on my Yankee hinges up front. So I'll have to figure out a way to support the box adequately. That's doable. So I can take off the top and the box and finish the glass work on them, and I can bring the frame back to the foundry and finish welding on it, or at least until I'm ready to mount the box. So this is good stuff. Now the seat and the seat box have a coat of epoxy, and the box I'm gonna glue a piece of, paint's kind of wet right now, a piece of fiberglass on the old boat to thicken this edge up. It's strong enough now for what it is, but it's kind of a sharp edge. I'd rather have a fatter edge that I can round over with the sander, so I'm going to glue some strips on there tomorrow. So still messing with the leaning post seat and storage box. The weather is not allowing me to do what I want to do, which is put the foam in the boat so I can put the floor down. But I'm keeping busy. I'm going to put one more coat of the gray epoxy on the bottom of the seat, because you will see it when the seat's open. And I'll put another coat on the inside and the outside of the storage box. The key to TIG welding is to have steady hands and keen eyesight, neither of which I have. So this has been kind of kicking my booty. Time-wise, I'm getting it, but I burn a lot of holes and I spend a lot of time welding up holes. This stuff's really thin. But I think we're pretty much through welding this, and now I'm going to put a couple of gussets to make the back stronger and a plate to bolt the back rest on. It's a very rainy day, and I'm working on the leaning post. Still trying to fix all my welds. Put a gusset here, which should help a lot, keeping the back straight. And then I put a gusset here, and I put two plates to catch the seat back. And when I get through welding with all these things, I've got the support and the tray finished out of fiberglass. I'll come put them in place and see what I need to add for support for that. Okay, I got a board just clamped into place for the seat back, and the good news is I have no problem putting a 2-inch cushion or more, and it won't hit the lid. I've got the box sitting in place, and it works just fine. It supports the lid when the lid. So I got this support tube welded in, and actually it went pretty well. I'm getting better. I have 3 more pieces of this 6-inch pipe strap. It's 3/16 stainless. So I think I'm going to put them here. I'm going to bend this in a curve and weld it here, and I'm going to bend this up and weld it here, and I'm going to put 3 of them. And then I can bolt the box through. Now I know that flat bar is not the strongest thing in the world, but the span is only like 3/4 of an inch from the weld. So problem is there's a little bit of play here, so I don't really know. I don't want to mess this up. I guess if I get it too high, I can grind the top down a little bit. So, okay, no fear. I'm going to weld these 3 into place. So I have gone over all the welds and all of the little fillet areas and put a little skim coat of epoxy filler. This is Total Boat Total Fair, pretty good stuff, kind of pricey. So now I need to go sand them all, get them all presentable looking, put a little primer on it and take a look-see and see if it's okay for me, or do I need to do it all over again. I mean the filling part. Okay, all primed up, and from 5 feet away it looks pretty damn good. I could probably sand on this for months to try to get it perfect, but probably won't happen. But I do see a couple of spots I need to take care of, and dang, pretty happy with this. Never made anything out of towel bars before.